Okay. So good afternoon. I'm Professor David Loertscher from the School of Information in San Jose State University. And I'm delighted to be today with two great people from Eminence, Kentucky, in what we call the EDHub, which is a great K-12 school. And the superintendent is Buddy Berry. And so I'm going to have two really important people introduce themselves today. And
my name is Jen Gilberts. I was hired as a librarian here 8 years ago when the EDHub opened, and it's been my only school library job right after I was getting certified when I got hired here. So this is the only school library I know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Kendra Waddell. I'm an EDHub integration specialist. It's a special title that's kind of made up for me because I'm not technically a librarian. I don't have my library certificate, but I replaced a certified librarian, and I work closely with Jen and all of the fun things we get to do here. So my background is as a certified English teacher, and that's what I did for 15 years, and I've been at Eminence for quite a while, teaching at first and then moving into this role 4 years ago. I think I've been in this role for 4 years now.
I think it's important to say you also are like PLTW certified. It's true. You do have a bit of an engineering background and stuff that has been really useful.
It's true. Yeah. It's one of the things that I love about this community and this school specifically, because I drive pretty far to work here, is the opportunity just to keep learning. And that's a thing that it's given me.
So this is a very unique school. Tell me why it's so different. What can students do here that would be non-traditional, in other words?
Well, this is a small district, and even though we've grown a lot since I even started here, I think it was a 600 student district when I started, and we're over 1,000 now in the last 8 years. So we've grown substantially, but I think we still are able to concentrate on individual students in a way large districts can't. And in my role as a librarian, I still spend a lot of my day working with individuals or small groups of kids. And so as they have projects or needs or desires, I feel like I spend a lot of time on desires, like they want to be able to do something. And that is what we're able to do. Now, I know a lot of times that might look like wanting to be able to find a book or get information is what a traditional librarian would do. But like my morning has been helping somebody really wanted to, I had a couple boys that they're trying to do something with a teacher and a class to be able to make 3D printed things for a winter bazaar is what they're trying to do. And they've gone through several iterations, but none of the designs were their own. And we've just kept kind of pushing back, and because they're smart boys, and we just kept pushing back and telling them why this wouldn't work and why this wasn't really efficient. And we printed some things and we were trying things. And finally, I just sat down and I was like, you need to learn how to take this part of what you want and you need to design now. Like you need to take parts of this and you need to rework this. And that's what we were doing. You're teaching software, you're teaching tools, you're teaching machines. And
so it's a library that is not only interested in the consumption of knowledge, but the creation of knowledge.
Exactly.
So there's lots of building, constructing, taking more ownership in my learning. Is that, how do you feel about that as you watch kids grow and develop here?
I think that's very true. And I think one of the things that makes that possible is the district has invested in 2 full-time people for that position. So in many schools, a single librarian running a library is a full-time job, right. Just the book side of it. And so because we have so much flexible, unscheduled time, because we're trusted to do as much as we can to get kids in using this variety of tools in our makerspace, I think then students have that. It just can happen. It's impossible for it to happen if there aren't enough staff and if there's not enough time for that creativity to happen.
So how do you get into the classroom? That is, how do you integrate what you do with what the teacher wants to have happen with children?
Do you want to talk about exemplars and that piece, like the graduate profile piece, how that kind of connects? I feel like that's a strong connection for us with micro-credentialing.
It is a strong connection. We our graduate profile we call it the exemplar. So if we use that term, we're not trying to be confusing. We just use that a lot. But so our exemplars, starting in middle school, 6th grade through 12th, we have 8 different exemplars categories that kids are required to complete different tasks in order to advance to the next grade level and some of those teachers work hard. The base level of them, teachers do try to integrate into classes. So especially things that are woven into the library, teachers try hard to give opportunities in class to do. So we had a math teacher come down and they had spent time in class working on making t-shirt cannons in class. And that wasn't, we hadn't worked on the cannons or anything with them. And I'm not sure what all the math part was, but then they had bought a certain number of t-shirts and they wanted to sublimation. They knew we had sublimation printers. And so they wanted to get micro-credential. They had some designs and they wanted to sublimation print on the shirts. And that's a pretty fast and easy thing. They just needed help in understanding how to do that. And they needed the space to do that. So then they were just coming down, and that class, we see that class all the time now doing other things. And they've come, parts of that class comes, that teacher is just really comfortable. And those kids are really comfortable. Like you see trends happen where once they realize, oh, this is open to us, like part of that class has come down to make laser cut marble runs for like they just once they
let's name those eight exemplars.
They are communicate, create, innovate, persevere, synthesize, contribute, collaborate, and compete.
And then there's all the state standards that are integrated into these 8 different things. So they build micro credentials around these 8 things. Is that correct?
Well, I think probably a fair way to say it is some of them are very academically tied. So, for example, communicate is very much tied to students writing and the activities that they're doing in their English classes and opportunities for public speaking. Micro credentials specifically are kind of just a single thread that run within the exemplars, and we see those appear with synthesize. And so at certain grade levels, the synthesize task, which is bringing information together from multiple domains, is to earn a micro credential in a new library tool. And we digitally badge students for earning those micro credentials. We've built a platform in Google's Looker Studio. So we have a process for students to submit evidence of their work as they micro credential in a variety of tools. That might be a 3D printer, the laser cutter, the sublimation printer. That might be an online tool set like Adobe Illustrator or a coding platform like Swift Playgrounds. We have over 50 tools that students can micro credential in, and they vary from engineering tools to publishing tools to creative making tools to power tools. So as students are going along their learning journey, and then they have a class project or a personal hobby that they're interested in growing in, they can micro credential through the library in those tools and meet that specific exemplar requirement.
So my sense of it is the library not only just kind of slides into this whole curriculum of the school, but it belongs there. So you become at the center of teaching and learning in the school. What do you think?
We like to think so.
We'll write it on our resume.
No, it's really, I really love being so heavily involved in the micro-credentials because the way we have it set up, Kendra mentioned that we have a digital badging system that we built through Looker Studio. So kids will submit through Google Forms. They'll apply for a micro-credential and they have to submit digital evidence. And so we'll see, like if they've done a green screen project, we'll see, a lot of them, they did just teachers did that as a break and they had like gone and visited a place, like they were at the Great Wall or whatever, and it's really fun to see,
their work.
We get to see work of kids all the time that I wouldn't see, like from other places. And it's fun to just take that moment and see those glimpses of all the learning that's happening everywhere. It's really fun.
Well, what's your advice to superintendents, principals, even librarians who would like to merge the library really into the center of teaching and learning? How does this happen? What is the secret? What advice would you give to anybody that says, I like what these people are doing? We'd like to be like that. What's your advice?
I think Dr. Berry's had this vision for a long time, and we just keep slowly getting closer to where it is. You can get tools, but until you get teacher investment, I know that there have been years that it's been better, and then COVID was a huge hit. We had to really work hard to get back in. It felt like we were starting back over, trying to get teachers recommitted to,
and students re-engaged
because we've been making so much progress, because that does not happen overnight. Getting teachers to invest and go outside of their comfort zone to let kids build in those projects where they might not know. They have to let go, on a sense, to let kids do stuff that they don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? When they're using things and they don't understand what they're doing. And that's totally possible, and it's fine. But sometimes teachers can be really uncomfortable with that.
And what's your advice?
I think the thing that makes Eminence so special and different is the trust. I feel so entrusted to do my job. And I feel like there are many, many schools and situations where there's just a sad presence of a lot of micromanagement, or a sad presence of a lot of just overscheduling, and it's very, very hard for creativity to flourish when there's not space to breathe and grow. And I feel like the way that we're staffed, the way that our schedules are that's we're entrusted to be professionals, and I think that is a really beautiful thing and a very rare thing, unfortunately, but an important part of the equation.
I guess my final question for you is, from the learner perspective, why is this school different? Because the library is here, you're here, but also teachers are doing different things. What is their perspective, do you feel, having maybe taught in a traditional school? What do you think?
I hope they feel that their access is high, that they have access to people that want to help them, that they have access to tools, that they have access to books, that is, I think, what we're trying to build, is a climate of access where they are empowered to reach and get what they want and what they need. And that's what we're building here.
I just interviewed two students here, just right out here, and asked them why they like this school. And they said because we are in control of our learning. They feel like they are a part of this,
That's
not just
good.
not just being told what to do.
Mm-hmm.
They are creating what they want to be, And so it's been delightful to talk to you. I think you are the future and the present of great school libraries. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate being here.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for coming.